This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
What's going on, everybody? Crispy Bacon here. Welcome to Morning Tailgate here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am here with the Primus. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Week 2 of the NFL. Excited to get this started. We learned a little bit last week. We're going to learn a lot more this week.
Yeah, so what did you think last week? Because I think everything was all over the board.
It was strange, especially when you're looking at watching different games. I know the Friday night game was different because they were talking about the field being sloppy. I don't know if that had anything to do with Love getting hurt, but when you look at the early parts of some of those games, the Jacksonville Miami game where Jacksonville just went out and started opening things up on a team that we thought was going to score a lot of points, and they were going to do it early, and then you get a team like Arizona doing what they were doing to the Bills in the first half, and thought the Bills were going to go out and lose, and somehow they find games. And then there's the experiment called the Caleb Williams experiment, where you pass for less yards than the special teams and the defense give.
Yeah.
I
mean, everything was all over the board. I would have thought Arizona would have won that game against Buffalo. Just the way it looked at, in the first half. Buffalo did score 34 points, though. I mean, but Arizona was close at 28.
Right.
I think that New England-Cincinnati game was a shot. I think everybody thought Cincinnati would have won that.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we go to the underdogs. I guess Dallas was an underdog. I don't know how. We're questioning that.
Yeah, I'm still to this. When I looked at it last week, when I was making my own personal picks for my own benefit, I thought I saw that the Cowboys were a 2-point dog to Cleveland, and I'm thinking that can't even be anywhere close to right, because I know Chubb was out. Watson's still coming back from an injury, so he's pretty questionable. So we're at this point, are you basing it off of the fact is that the running game isn't the same in Dallas, or are you basing it off of the defense in Cleveland? It kind of, I'd like to pick the brains of somebody in Las Vegas who thought that was what the line was, the reason for the line on that game.
Yeah. You don't have to give us all of your secrets, but tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And then we jump over to Thursday, this past Thursday. Dolphins hosting the Bills. And Tua goes down again with what is third or fourth known concussion.
Fourth in 3 years?
Yeah.
And
not to mention one, and now when he was in college, 2019.
Right. He's got to start thinking at this point. We were having this conversation a couple of years ago when I think it was against the Bills where he got taken completely out, and a couple of years back. It seems like the Bills know how to put a concussion on Tua, but I honestly, I'm starting to agree with Antonio Pierce, from the head coach of the Raiders, that he may need to start thinking about retirement. Sometimes you got to start thinking about after football kind of productivity. If you're going to keep doing this, it's weird. Again, I understand that he's fighting for yards, but he needs to really think about sliding in that aspect, because still it's week 2. I could understand if you're fighting for those yards in week 18 and you're looking for a playoff spot. But we're talking week 2.
Right. Yeah, we are. And I'm thinking too that he definitely needs to retire. He says he's not going to retire. I think put him on the bench for the rest of the year.
Make him think about it.
Yeah. Make him think, oh, this is pretty good too, just sitting on the sideline.
Right.
And this is not like when Aikman was around and he get concussion and he's like, I can play. Like, what should I run?
Right. And think about it. Think about it. Aikman retired because of concussions. Steve Young retired because of concussions. It's not unheard of.
No, it's not. And I think too that if those two quarterbacks went down, or not went down, but retired because of concussions, I think there's a trend going on.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've had players retire. You've had players retire early, because they want welfare. What was it? It was Chris Borland from San Francisco retired early because he was afraid of being concussed, and I think he was only in the league 2 years. And there's players out there really thinking long and hard about post NFL life, and it's scary when you watch the same guy go through the same thing. It seems like year after year.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know. I mean, I think he should retire.
I would, but then I was calling for that 2 years back on this very show. After this, almost seems like after the Bills game, I thought he should have retired then. So yeah, I think it needs to be thought very, very long and hard about. And I believe his brother is at the University of Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. And I think
right.
And I think they need a long conversation. I think that whole family needs a long conversation to keep themselves aware of what could happen.
Oh yeah. What do you think of Caleb Williams? He's the talk of the NFL, as he should be, because he was the first overall pick. But what do you think of him in week 1?
96 yards?
Yeah.
But the thing is, his defense bailed him out. I understand it's week 1. I understand he's a rookie. He needs to back up a second. He's going to get a real good test today. Was it tomorrow night? Tonight? No, tonight.
Tonight.
Against Houston. That's not a team you want to take lightly. He's gonna, last week he got lucky. He got lucky to get a win week 1. Real lucky to get a win on week 1, because Tennessee that was another team that had opened up early on a team, and Tennessee isn't expected to be a fighting for a playoff spot. And Will Levis, he should be thanking Caleb Williams should be sending a thank you note to Will Levis for gifting points to the Chicago Bears like he did. Caleb Williams just has to take his time. This isn't the playoff team right now. He needs to relax. He needs to learn the system. He needs to learn to read NFL defenses, find out where his checkdowns are. He needs to find out who his anchor is. He needs to rely heavily on DeAndre Swift. He needs to rely heavily on Cole Kmet, because those are going to be his check down guys. And I'm going to tell you, he links to that. He may have a really good season. He may have a rookie of the year season, but he's got to do the little things first.
Yeah, he definitely does. And there's a quote out from Skip Bayless, of all people, and It says, my eye test told me he's the future face of the league.
Oh man, Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless needs his eyes checked. Skip an eye test. I don't know what he's looking at, but then again, didn't he say that? Wasn't that what he roughly said last year about Bryce Young? And
Yeah.
look what Bryce Young did. You don't. I don't. I think Caleb Williams needs to come out and try to distance himself away from Skip Bayless because Skip Bayless is like the Madden curse.
Yeah. Is Caleb smart? Yeah. Is he a rookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he will learn, but
Mhm.
he's very intelligent, and I think he will get the grasp of the league. It's just going to take time, and I feel like the defense was the main part of their victory last week
Oh, it was a huge part.
in special teams.
It was huge part of that game. The special teams and the defense. You can't hold nothing against that defense and that special teams because it did exactly what it was supposed to do.
But you can't always rely on that.
Right, exactly.
Especially with Houston. I feel like you need more offense in that type of game.
Yeah, because Houston could tear that defense apart because it's a scary defense. Oh no.
What's up, Big B?
What's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. Have a little issues here, but what's new?
Not much.
Caleb, we're talking about the over under if Caleb's going to get over 100 yards.
Under.
Passing? Nah, he'll get over. He'll get over.
Against Houston?
No, he'll get over. He'll fix it right. I guess it would depend on if that rookie receiver's healthy because I heard there was some issues there.
Which one, Adunze?
Yeah, Dunze, yeah. So.
Uh-oh.
I don't have.
What do you think of
week? Team, so I don't care.
Yeah.
What did you think of week 1, Big B, overall?
Honestly, I mean, it started out. Me and Tim talked about this on our fantasy show, which you can catch Wednesdays at 3:30. I thought week 1 went great. I thought the end of the first game was, very nice, and a team loses by a toe and not from the kicker. But outside of that, I think week 1 was very good. Not many upsets, a lot of good games. And just can't wait to see what week 2 and beyond brings.
Yeah, I was surprised that, I'm not surprised, it was the right call, but that it came down to a toe. And with a shoe like that, it's like, well, 90% of the shoes in the end zone.
Yep. No, it was one of those where those guys practice those games. I mean, we've always talked about how Chris Carter was like the GOAT of those sideline end zone catches at the but no, we'll see what week 2 brings. I can't wait.
How was Sam Darnold with the Vikings first week?
I think the Viking fans and Darnold are just I mean, we got to treat it like a rookie, and him coming in and trying to catch with up with Jefferson and the rest of the receiving crew. But I think he looked pretty good. We'll see what week 2 brings. That defense is going to be a lot better. I mean, I can't judge a lot of things off of week 1 because the Giants are the Giants, and San Fran is a little bit better than them guys. So we'll see what week 2 brings for the purple and gold.
I feel like Bryce Young and Daniel Jones should just retire.
Bryce Young, no, he's too young. I mean, this is his second year. Daniel Jones, he might benefit from going into maybe go to a team that different scenery and see what happens. I mean, the Giants just don't think that. I don't think the Giants are setting him up for success, just like in Chicago with Fields. I don't think the Bears' success plan for Fields was that great. So, he might just need to go somewhere else.
And what about Tua?
Oh, don't get me started on Tua.
He went down.
we said it a couple years ago when Tua had those 2 back-to-back head injuries. We all said that people need to start stepping in and saying, "Hey, dude, you can't keep doing this." And as an athlete, Tim, you can agree. I mean, you want to play. No matter what the level is, you're hurt, you want to play. If you can feel you can be productive, you want to play. I mean, the doctors, the team, his family, himself. I mean, they all got to get together and just think of a plan. Maybe it wasn't serious, but I still have yet to see the video. But I've heard a lot of people say that he got up and was just like Jello, just walking all over the place. So.
Let's just say he reminded me a lot of when Naheem Hines about a year ago had went to the sidelines, got up from one and hit the sidelines, and he went all jelly legs. So it was looking pretty.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think the doctors and especially his family, his immediate family, need to really get into his head. His very close friends need to get into his head and just say, "Dude, this is 3 in 3 years. It might be time to at least shut her down for the year. Don't rush back and maybe reevaluate for 2025." But you don't want to mess with these head injuries.
But that's hard. That's hard to do.
What's that?
That's hard to do, though. Be like, I'm going to shut it down.
Oh,
no,
That's going to be hard
is.
to do, just to shut it down like that.
And it is. I mean, like I said, as a sports player, you want to be out there. You want to be with your team. You feel you're healthy. You want to be out there. I mean, heck, you can probably ask CMC right now. He probably doesn't want to be on the IR. He probably wants to be out there playing for San Fran. So.
Yeah, I don't want him on the IR.
But this is serious, and I think they really need to evaluate him a lot better and really take their time bringing him back.
They do. And I know McCaffrey's going to be on the IR. Luckily, it's a short-term IR.
Yeah.
Lucky
for me.
Yep. I mean, the Madden curse strikes again. This has to be what every year. I think. I don't think there's been 1 year. I think the person. Yeah, but I think there's been 1 year that the person on the cover did not get hurt.
Yeah, I think that was the Richard Sherman year.
That might have been.
Well,
Okay, I have to look that up.
into that.
Brady too. Brady year too.
Oh yeah.
We've kind of talked about it a little bit with the Dolphins and Bills game. But we also have a lot of games today and in the game tomorrow. Vegas at Baltimore, and if we can make picks too.
Yep.
Who you guys think going to pick for this one? We'll go Big B.
Man, neither team really impressed me week 1. I know Vegas is kind of, we're going to rebuild every year. They don't know what direction they're going. Baltimore looked to be the same Baltimore team, even with Derrick Henry there. It's in Baltimore. I got to go with the home team. I think it's going to be a close one, though. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Yeah, I think
Tim?
I think that that game Thursday night between Kansas City and Baltimore really did a number to Baltimore. I think they realized that they made a mistake leaving that to a toe. I don't think they're gonna get. It's going to be as close as Brandon thinks it's going to be. I think Baltimore pulls away in this game by maybe third quarter. You're going to see a true Ravens team against the Raiders. I've got the Ravens.
I got the Ravens too. I mean, Vegas is going to be a good team. I just don't think they're going to win against Baltimore. But as we saw from week 1, crazier things have happened.
Yep.
So who knows? Cardinals, at home, or no, Carolina, they're at home against the Chargers. Uh, Tim, who do you got for this one?
I don't. I'm going to tell Sarge. I'm going to apologize because this isn't going to be pretty. I think the Chargers go in there, and I think they just. I think the Chargers just hand the Panthers their lunch because it's. I think it's going to be. I think we're going to have a repeat of the New Orleans Carolina game from last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be pretty. I got the Chargers all day long on this one.
Big B, I think you kind of revealed your pick, but who do you got?
It's tough. I mean, I see Tim's point with the Chargers. I don't think Baltimore. I don't think Carolina is going to have another bad week like they did. I mean, I'm still going to go with the Chargers, but I just can't see them having another bad week. I mean, we know the Chargers are, they did a lot of off-season moves this year, not really to impress and get their team into shape. So, I got the Chargers. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, though.
Yeah, I got the Chargers too in this one, and in our Survivor, picks that we do for C2C. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I got the Chargers over the Panthers.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps. I don't know. New Orleans at Dallas. I'm going Dallas on this one. It's a home game. I think they have a big home stretch. Not home stretch, but winning streak at home the last couple years. New Orleans is a good team, as we saw in Week 1, but that was against Carolina. I think it's going to be a close game, but I still think Dallas wins it. Big B?
Yeah, it's tough to go against Dallas with that defense. Saints, yeah, like you said, Chris, they looked good Week 1, but it was against Carolina. I don't think that'll happen again. It's not that you can't trust Dallas's offense, but you can't discount the Dallas defense. They'll step up. So this one might be a 14-point game. I'm going Dallas.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make it a clean sweep. I think Dallas showed a lot last week. New Orleans showed a lot. I would be absolutely shocked if this game was going to be decided in the fourth quarter. If it is, Bacon, I have a bad feeling. And like Wade Barrett says, I have some bad news for you because it's not going to look pretty. But I think I've got Dallas. I think much like both of you guys, I think this could be a blowout.
Then you got Tampa Bay and Detroit. Tim, who do you got?
Well, speaking of blowouts, Detroit played a Rams team last week and went into overtime, and I think a lot of if I was watching Fox like last week, there was a lot of guys had taken the Rams in that game, and I must be underestimating the Rams, but I'm not going to underestimate the Buccaneers. I just like what they've got going on in Detroit. I really, really like the Lions in this game.
Big B?
Well, you guys know me. You guys know what my Super Bowl pick is. And I think the Lions keep a roaring down the road here. That team is young, fun to watch. Tampa Bay definitely is a rebuild mode. I mean, Baker, is looking good as he can be, but I don't think you can bet against the Lions on this one.
I don't think so either. I got the Lions in this one. But what will be fun, I guess, is if both championship games, all 4 teams were teams that never been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I doubt
it
that's ever
would
gonna happen,
be.
but it'll be cool.
It would be good, nice.
It would be cool. I'd definitely take it.
Yep.
It's like, in both those games, like, I don't care who wins, somebody's going to get to the Super Bowl first or and possibly win it. So
Yep.
that'd be kind of cool. You got the Colts and the Packers. We know Love is out with that MCL injury. And I think they have their backup quarterback in place. So, Tim, this is your team. Who do you got for this one?
I'm breaking hearts in my family because like I think half of Bee's family are Packer fans. 99% of my family are Packer fans. My sister's really happy that I took a Lion, so this is great. Everybody, if you most people who've been watching Colts games against the NFC North for the last 15 years, outside of a 33 point deficit against Minnesota, who knows how Indy plays against the North, and they have a winning streak right now against Green Bay. We don't have Julian Blackman, which is going to hurt. We've got DeForest Buckner, who's questionable. Juju Brents is questionable. Josh Downs is questionable. But hey, the nice thing is we don't have to face Love. We face a quarterback that we faced before in Tennessee. My worry is the fact is our run defense looks like it was made out of Swiss cheese. It's absolutely terrible when Joe Mixon goes close to his career best against us. If he goes for 159. If you got Josh Jacobs in fantasy football, please start him because he's going to get you about 160. Outside of that, I like our chances in this game. Anthony Richardson last week showed a lot of promise. Problem is he shows glimpses and then he goes and does something stupid. 50% completion percentage, went for 212, but he had 2 beautiful passes to Alec Pierce last week that were completely showed the strength of his arm. If Love was still playing, I'd still take who I'm taking because of the past, and I am taking the Indianapolis Colts over the Green Bay Packers.
Big B.
Well, this was a game that we kind of talked about a little bit on our fantasy zone, but Green Bay doesn't have that mystique as teams will go in there and no matter who's that quarterback, we're going into Lambeau Field, we're going to lose. They don't have that with this current team. So, and Tim brought up the winning streak. I hope it goes on. I got the Colts in this one. I still think I would have probably taken the Packers with Love, but we'll see what the Colts defense does. I know Tim said that they're kind of shaky right now. So do they try to force? Do they plan to stop the run, or do they let Jacobs run all over the place and they stop the pass? So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I got the Colts in this one.
Yeah, I think if Love was still in this matchup, I'd probably take the Packers. But I think it's the Colts' time. It is in Green Bay. Luckily, it's not snowing or cold.
I want to see Clifford.
You want to see Clifford?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's their backup now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got elevated from the practice squad. But he has been there the last few years, so that does help a little bit. But I'm going with the Colts on this one. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. We have Cleveland at Jacksonville. I think we kind of know where we're going to lead towards on this one. Big B, who do you got for this one?
Cleveland at Jacksonville. Man, that's you just never know with neither team what's going to show up. But I think we got to go with the steady hand and the team that's home. I'd like to see kind of an upset here, but I just don't know if the Browns have it. I'm going Jacksonville. I just think they're more ready right now. And I know that's a lot of people, a lot of experts pick. They think it's going to be a sneaky pick to get to the Super Bowl is Jacksonville. So I'm going Jacksonville.
Tim?
Yeah, as much as I don't want to say it, it's Jacksonville. You just don't know what in the world. And we've been saying this since the Colts game last year with the Browns. We don't know what the deal is with Deshaun Watson. Maybe he's been a little too much, spending too much time in getting massages and not.
We know what the deal is with Watson. We just can't say it. That's more of a bro code topic there.
He spends a lot of time in the training room and not watch. He's not watching film, and he's spending more time in the training room.
Yep.
I think I think Cleveland until Nick Chubb comes back is an 0. I think they're an 0 everything team. I think Jacksonville is going to. I feel bad for Myles Garrett. I really do because he's on that team. But yeah, I take Jacksonville, and I don't. I know it's a 3-point spread, but I think it's going to be a 10-point game.
I'm sure that hurts, picking Jacksonville because you got the Colts in there too, and their division rivals.
Yeah.
I'm going with Jacksonville. I think of these two teams that Jacksonville is a slightly better team than Cleveland. Cleveland at times showed like they're a good team, and then the other times they don't. It just depends on which side you're going to get from them. Big B, we got the 49ers and the Vikings. Who do you got for this one?
Oh man, this has been weighing on me, as a fan pretty much since last year when their schedule got released, because you just didn't know what the Vikings are going to look like. We talked about San Fran and how well rounded they are. CMC's down, but they still do have a good backup quarterback. Man, if the Vikings look like they did against the Giants, I know it was just the Giants, but if they could do that against San Fran, this game is going to be a very good game to watch. This is probably I would say the game of the week for the early games. I'm going to go Vikings. I would not surprised to see if this one goes into overtime. So I'm going Minnesota.
Tim?
I would. Well, my daughter-in-law would love you right now because that's who she took. Yeah, I know it's CMC is out, but
yeah.
when the backup running back goes for 147. I know it was against the Jets, which tells me everything I need to know about the Jets defense. It's scary. But I think the Vikings defense is better than the Jets defense. Golly, I'm flip-flopping. I'm still going to go with the 49ers, but like you said, I think it's going to be a closer game than the 5.5 points that Vegas is giving.
Yeah, I've been kind of back and forth on this one. I'm going 49ers on this one, and I found an interesting stat they brought up on NFL Network where the last game the 49ers have won against Minnesota was in 99.
Really? Let's throw that one out there.
That's not why, but I thought that was kind of interesting though. It's like, it's been that long?
Was that in Minnesota or was that just against each other?
I think it was in Minnesota, but in general, it was against each other.
Okay, gotcha.
But it could be. I'll have to look at that again. But that should be an interesting game. Maybe it will be a game of the week matchup.
Jaron Reed has been elevated to active today's game. Just came in across.
Because I've got him.
We'll start him.
No, I got a couple of receivers that are huge.
All right.
What could have been a Super Bowl matchup if both Russell Wilson and Tom Brady were with these teams? You got Seattle and New England. Tim?
I think the worst thing that happened last week was the Patriots won. It made everything so much. It made this week's pick a little more difficult because they beat the Bengals. You're not supposed to beat the Bengals. I hate the Patriots. I hate the Patriots so bloody much. You know what? Just my hatred alone is enough to drive me to pick. I'm going to go Seattle.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Big B?
Man, this is unless you're the fan base, you're not really going to pay attention to a game. It's in New England or is it in Seattle?
Yeah, it's in New England.
It's in New England.
Oh man, I think this is just going to be an ugly-ish game. Turnovers and stuff like that. Penalties and stuff like that. I got to go with the home team. I hate to say it, but I got to go New England.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that decision too, where it's like, which team do you pick? But I got New England in this one. Gerard Mayo in his first coaching, game, he did pretty good, I thought.
He beat the Bengals, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
I guess they did truly move on to Cincinnati. I think they showed that millions of times last week.
Yeah.
Next game we have Jets at Tennessee. Big B.
Oh man, Jets, Tennessee. Two teams he's still trying to figure out. I mean, even if your players on these teams, you're trying to figure out what direction they're going. I gotta go with the push comes to shove, you go with the home team. You got to go with Tennessee. I think Levis and that crew will get it done.
Yeah. Tim?
Yeah, I hate both teams with a passion. And the thing is, it's the Titans are in my division, and I can't deal with that division. The thing is, Will Levis makes mistakes.
Yep.
Chicago made him pay, and that Jets defense is probably a top 5 defense. He will make them make more mistakes. Yeah, I don't trust Levis quite yet. I trust him more than Bryce Young. Let's just tell you that.
I do too.
I've got the Jets. I think the Jets are going to give Aaron Rodgers his first win in New York for the Jets because it's not in New York. But yeah, I give it to the Jets.
It's another game I'm going to get back and forth with. I'm going with the Jets. I hope, it'd be cool for Rodgers to get his first win with New York. But Tennessee, you never know with them. I think we kind of know about the Giants and the Commanders because that's our next game.
Oh God.
Big B, who do you got for this one? I think I kind of know. But.
Well, the thing is, you pick the Giants. because you don't like the Commanders. Commanders will show up. You pick the Commanders because you don't like the Giants. The Giants show up. Can this be the first 0-0 tie game in NFL history? I mean, out of the Giants, there's only a couple people I can name. Commanders are the same. Man, honestly, I know we almost made this prediction a couple years ago, and we almost nailed it. This game I could see it ended in a tie. I'm gonna go Commanders.
I was saying, call a tie. Call it.
No, I'll put my money. I'll put $1 on a tie, but I'm going Commanders.
This game.
All right.
This game right now has got to be the Oscar Grouch trash game of the day. Golly, it could. And the funny thing is, it's like,
does this game draw more fans than the White Sox game?
No, they're really going to draw more fans than the Tampa Bay Rays at home. And the thing is, here's the funny thing is, Brandon, you brought up the fact that the 49ers Vikings game is going to be the game of the early morning games.
Yep.
To be honest, this could be the car crash game of the day.
Yep.
This could be bad. This could be 3-0. This could be 0-0. I'm not calling the tie, but I'm like you, Big B. I would put $1 on a tie, but I've got the Commanders.
I wonder if the wrestling event I'm going to today will have more fans in this game.
Probably. And the funny thing is, Jalen Daniels could actually have a really good game today.
Yeah, he could.
So you're picking Washington?
I'm picking the Commanders.
Okay.
This game is going to be so. This game's going to be so bad that they're going to want to bring the Redskins back next year.
That'd be interesting. I'm going with Washington too, but I was just looking up because BB, you mentioned about the first 0-0 tie. It would be for a long, in a long time it would be, but NFL's been around since 1920, and since then there have been 73 scoreless ties.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Are we talking college football?
No, it's NFL.
Really? Really?
Yeah. The last one was back in 1943.
You have to remember that they didn't put an overtime rule in until 1957.
Does Donovan McNabb know that?
No.
I remember that. Didn't you say you didn't remember the rules one time?
I didn't know game could end in a tie. Okay, bud.
Let's see. Next, we have the Rams and the Cardinals division game. Tim?
I just looked at it. I looked at it on what was it, Thursday, when I made these picks that was Cardinals was a 1.5 point favorite, and now it's the pick 'em. Are they basing that off of the first half against the Buffalo Bills? Because
That's what I'm thinking.
Rams went to overtime with the Lions. I would have made with the Rams. I would have made the Rams the favorite by at least 3.5 at this point. But I like the Rams. I think the Rams are a better team than a lot of people are giving them credit for, especially what they did in Detroit. So yeah, I've got the Rams.
Big B?
Well, if you guys read the reports earlier this week, there was some disputing going on in the locker room and of the Cardinals, and I know we all seen the play where Harrison Jr. was wide open and Murray didn't even see him. He could have been in probably neon yellow and he probably still wouldn't have seen him. I'm going the Rams. The Rams are, like Tim said, you took the Lions to overtime, who a lot of people picked to go to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm going Rams.
I'm going Rams too. I know it's early on in the season, but I'm sure there's going to be disputes going on, right now because they've practiced whatever they practiced and maybe it didn't go off as planned. And I'm sure there's going to be a little dispute like that, but I'm going Rams. I don't think the Cardinals. They came close in that first half, but that was the first half. They didn't win the game last week, and I'm not sure if they're going to win this game. So I'm picking the Rams on this matchup. Next, you have the Steelers and the Broncos. Tim, who you got?
I didn't see anything that impressed me too much with the Broncos last week. That defense is going to. I think, and I'm going to say this very. I shouldn't say the M word. But the defense is going to destroy Bo Nix. I don't think it's going to look pretty. Justin Fields may have a field day, and he's going to have the game that I think the Chicago Bears wanted him to have in Chicago. I've got the Steelers in that game.
Big B.
Well, Bo knows, and I think Bo knows he's going to meet these Steelers defenses really well. I think him and Mr. Watt are going to become very good acquaintances this week. So, yeah, I got Steelers. I think the Steelers, to me, right now, are kind of a sneaky playoff team. If they get hot at the right time, I think they could definitely do something. I've said it for in the offseason. I think Bears gave up on Fields too soon. I know the numbers week one will be throwing at me and be like, well, look at week one. I'm like, I get it. Give it time. New team, new players. So I know Russell Wilson's there too, but I think Fields is going to be the guy going forward. So I got Steelers.
Who's starting for Steelers today?
Fields.
Oh, it's got to be Fields.
It's Fields.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I remember that second to last preseason game, or maybe it was the last preseason game. They're like, "Yeah, we're starting Wilson."
Oh yeah. Pittsburgh came out right away. Came out right away when they got both of them and said Wilson's our number one guy. And a lot of people said that they're foolish to even say that right now. But
and now it's Fields, and that's what I thought when Fields was traded to Pittsburgh. I think I said it in the.
Well, I think Wilson is dealing with some injury. I could be wrong.
He's dealing with a calf injury.
Oh, okay. But if Fields plays good enough, he might still be the quarterback.
Yeah, the old saying goes, granted you don't lose your position over injury, but
tell that to Drew Brees or to
Drew
Bledsoe.
Exactly.
So yeah, two different times I think.
Yeah.
But I got the Steelers. And what was interesting too is that I think it was Bo Nix was the first rookie quarterback for the Broncos to start.
Yep.
That was drafted by Denver.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last one was I don't know, somebody
it was before Elway. It was
the last one was Elway.
No, Elway was drafted by Baltimore.
Yeah.
So it was the quarterback before.
So yes, this is the first rookie quarterback to start a game week one for
That's the first one they drafted.
Yeah, but it's the first one they drafted, yeah.
Because I think it was Craig Morton was the first one. I think Craig Morton was the one they drafted and they started him.
I think we know who we're picking for this one.
The refs.
The refs. Okay. Honorary pick is the refs.
Yeah.
Next, we have Cincinnati and Kansas City. I think we know where we're going with this one.
No.
Big B, who do you got?
This is another game me and Tim touched on a little bit in the our show on Wednesday.
Yes.
Burrow has owned KC. It seems like I think going into last year, I think he was either undefeated or only had one loss against KC with Patrick Mahomes there. Man, this is probably going to be the game of the afternoon games.
All right.
If my son's listening to me, he's he's not because he's doing stuff. I got to go Kansas City in this one, even though I think even though I just stated that Joe Burrow's owned them. But yeah, I got to go Kansas City. They're the home team. If this wasn't Cincinnati, I go Cincinnati. But we're going Kansas City.
Tim.
This is where rubber meets the road, folks. This is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start pulling away from everybody because Joe Burrow is so good against Kansas City. I'm going the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh,
is he pulling his Go Namath out there and guaranteeing this?
Oh, I'm not guaranteeing. We haven't even done that. Have we? You know what? Make this my lock of the week. Forget it. Give me the lock of the week.
Oh, okay. Just remember that Joe Burrow may have Mahomes' number in the regular season, but Mahomes has it in the postseason.
That's why it's week 2 of the regular season.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm going with the Chiefs. It's at home. Chiefs are the home team. But it is early on in the season. Maybe Cincinnati will surprise us. And then Sunday Night Football, the Bears and the Texans. Tim, it's kind of in your division with the Texans.
Let's just mess around right now.
Yep. breaking hearts at this point. I already broke Sarge's earlier. I broke Brandon's already. At this point, all right, Caleb. There's an old saying in football: your head better be on a swivel. And Caleb Williams, guess what, bud? Your head's going to need to be on a swivel against this Texans defense. You're not only, and the other thing is the offense. Houston's offense has got so many bloody weapons. You have to be careful because you've got Mixon who just showed he could run up a day and a half on you. You got Tank Dell, you got Nico Collins, you've got Stephen Diggs. Okay, at this point, this is a team that could possibly go 13-14 on up 14. They could run off 14. I really think it's possible. This is Caleb. I hope you get over 100, but I don't feel it coming. I've got the Texans.
Ooh. All right, Big B.
This one, I think this game's going to start off slow. I think both defenses are going to dominate early. Both defenses are good. That's why the Bears won last week, and but I think once Houston figures out what the Bears are bringing to them, they're going to make adjustments to where the Bears side, I don't think they're going to try to make adjustments, but they just aren't going to make the right ones. But yeah, I'm going to make this my lock. Houston over the Bears.
Ooh. I'm going to make the pick of the Texans over the Bears. I don't think that Caleb Williams is ready for prime time right now.
He's not ready for Oscar either.
That too. I don't think no one is. But I'm going to go with the Texans over this one. And I'm not sure in our final pick if this quarterback is ready to go back to prime time. So we got your former quarterback, Kirk Cousins, going up against Philadelphia on Monday Night Football. Big B?
Well, yeah, I wasn't impressed with week 1 with Kurt. they got the comparisons between Donald and Kurt. Yeah, we know. I got to go with Philly. I think Philly is, one of those. Granted, the AFC or NFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl again, unless their quarterback gets hurt. But they also got a pretty sneaky backup back there too that can play. So yeah, I'm going Philly over Atlanta.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, we're talking about a team. We're talking about a team that has a quarterback that can't play in prime time. We got against basically a quarterback made for prime time. It's scary, even if AJ Brown doesn't play tomorrow night with that hamstring, I still don't think Atlanta's got enough to stop the Eagles. They don't throw. They got Saquon Barkley. It's just ridiculous. I've got Philadelphia tomorrow night.
Yeah, I sadly I do too. But it should be a fun matchup, I think. Both these teams on Monday night, spotlights on them. Should be a good way to end it in the second week. And with that, those are our picks. Hopefully, everybody does well with the picks this week. And as we close out the show, what's everybody's thoughts on the first 2 or 3 weeks of college football?
College football is one of those things where, the first couple weeks are their preseason game, but there's a lot of teams that have, stepped up that you don't think would have. I know there's some people who are talking about last night's game when I was on another platform watching some cards being open. Georgia was getting beat by Kentucky, was it? Or I don't know how that ended. My Gophers are looking pretty good. I think back-to-back shutouts for them. Again, when I go to listen to radio today, I'm guaranteed there's gonna be a lot of Minnesota stations. Oh, Big Ten champions coming! Look at what they've done. But it's hard to judge the first couple of weeks of the college season because a lot of teams are playing no-name schools and stuff like that. So, but the college football is underway, and we'll see what the rest of the season brings for college football.
If Florida State has some karma coming their way,
just a little.
Anything that happens to Florida State, I'm all about. Here's the funny thing is who would have figured that primetime would have has more wins than his alma mater? Who would have figured that? And the Georgia game ended by 1 point.
Yeah, and you speaking of primetime, Tim. Man, he needs to shave. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You got gray hairs. We all got them. Tim's got them. I got them. Chris, you will be getting them. But yeah, man, he looks like he's like Joe Paterno age. Of that.
Let's not bring up Joe Paterno on this show because
no. But I'm just saying.
We bring up Joe Paterno. Can we start talking about Deshaun Watson's extracurricular activities?
Yeah. Exactly. So, but before we go, guys, I don't know if you guys covered. I missed the first 10 minutes or so. What do you guys think of the kickoffs?
I like it.
I do too. I'm used to it with the XFL watching the little and they had it.
Yep.
I think it's going to get teams a little bit of time to get used to it because those kickers have strong legs.
Well, and that's the thing is that the kickers are still, some of them are still booting it out of the back. So I can see them adjusting the kickers to move back about another, 5 yards.
Who returned them last week? There was one that got returned last week. Who was that?
That? I missed that.
There was a return. There was a kick return last week for like 96 yards.
I think it was a punt return.
Was it a punt return? I thought it was a kick return.
I can tell you what, we talk about kickoffs. Dante Hall and Hester would have had a field day with these ones.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they would. That's what I thought when they made this rule. It's like Yeah, those
Yeah.
two.
I'm surprised that Cordell Patterson hasn't taken one to the house. If
Exactly.
he's still doing kick returns, but yeah.
I don't think
No,
he
I
is.
like it. I think it definitely helps field position managing games and stuff like that. So
The only thing I don't. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing that I'm not fond of the rule is that you have to be behind in the fourth quarter to use.
And you got to
to
tell.
have an onside kick.
And you got to announce it beforehand.
that onside, that. Oh, we're gonna do an onside kick here. That takes the surprise out of getting the return. So
It was DJ Dallas.
Okay.
DJ Dallas last week for Buffalo against Arizona.
All right.
Kickoff return?
Yeah, that was the kicker. That was the kick return last week. Oh no, it was Carolina. Or no, it was Arizona against Buffalo.
Huh. I have to watch that one. I don't remember that one.
But I like it. I like the rule. It's definitely works well for the health of the players on the field.
Yeah, and you have a little more time kind of picking your spot as kick returner because they're lining up, but you can go, okay, if this player's coming after me, I'm going to go left or right.
I think once the teams start getting a feel for how the players like it and stuff, I think we're going to start seeing some misdirections and reverses again, like we used to in the old school days.
You can see, especially where they're going to start, where they're getting it from. You can definitely see your alleys a lot better too. Where you know how Dante Hall was always really good at seeing alleys. You've got people like Dave Meggett and Dion even on punch returns and
Dion would have been a great returner for those.
If Desmond Howard would have had more return to the house back in the day.
Exactly.
But he can see. But they see alleys so much easier, especially at field level at the point.
Yeah. But with that, any final thoughts?
I think Bacon's watching game film.
Final thought for me is, it's always good to get on these shows when I'm off. I typically work Sundays, but I'm off because you get ready here shortly to. If you wrestling fans watch, we say his name and he appears. Joe Henry will be in Minnesota. So Joe Henry will have to be in Minnesota today at a local wrestling event that I'm going to. But check out Between the Ropes tonight as I review today's matches that I'm seeing. So we'll talk to you guys later.
I was kind of hoping that he didn't say his name, and the next thing you know, he's been off with the video, so that all of a sudden you say his name and he appears. The next thing he turns on the video camera, and Joe Henry's standing right next to him.
That would have been awesome. Yeah,
I love Green Bay Day with my Colts. It's going to be an exciting day. This is where where I don't hear from many family members, so it's going to be great. Watch Tuesdays for C2C Rankum with Big B and myself, and then Wednesday for the boy. We're gonna. This is don't worry, Bacon. We get this wrong every day on our own show too. The
Couch Fantasy Zone.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Tune in. We'll be back next week for morning tailgate. With that, enjoy football on the Sunday and the Monday, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.